If you're struggling to improve your Rocket League game, maybe it's time to hit up the settings. Here it is, Rocket League, best controller bindings. Yeah! Hey, kicking this off, we're going to be talking about the power slide going to the left bumper or to the L1 button. Let's address why we're making this list in the first place. Rocket League is a surprisingly deep and expressive game involving exploding funny cars and a giant soccer ball, or football, whatever. The default controls are fine, but for some players, it may not allow them to grasp the finer mechanics without moving some functions to different buttons. Case in point, the power slide button is usually snugly next to the jump button. Certainly a fine place once you wrap your head around the e-brake system to whip around quick. If you accidentally hit jump, you're just floating momentum. Now you might be asking yourself, Game Rant, why on earth are you even bringing up this public service message? Because we play online and we see random players do it all the time. Hard stop, jump, boost. Hard stop, jump, boost. You're not going to be able to unsee this the next time you match with some randos. Sorry. Okay, up next we're going to be talking about the air roll left right to the left bumper. Hey, we're just going to follow that up with the same change. If you're new to Rocket League, you might not be aware that some actions are only available when you're on the ground, see the aforementioned power slide, and other actions only work when you're up in the sky. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. You can engage in an air roll, shifting the weight of your vehicle to tilt in any direction, just like a real car. If you're struggling with playing goalie for your team, this might make the difference to nip back unexpected airborne drives. Again, the point here is to give you more control. With a basic Xbox or PlayStation controller, now you're free to access the jump and boost buttons, making it a lot easier to perform air maneuvers at your leisure. Okay, up next we're talking about the scoreboard. You can apply that to the square or X button depending on your console, whatever one is on the left. Oh, you don't think the scoreboard button is very important, do you? Well, let me tell you. We here at Game Rant know it's the only button, because at the end of the day, somebody wins and somebody loses. So you put those points on the board, baby. In fact, it is such an important button, an elder statesman of a button, not to be disturbed too much or even at all. So let's move that bad boy from the bumpers and onto the face buttons. Look, the default controls are mostly fine, except for scoreboard. Of all the buttons except, I don't know, skip music or voice chat, this is one you should be using the least, and giving it such a dynamic placement like a shoulder button instead of, something useful is such a weird choice by the developers. But not us. We respect you too much, Mr. Scoreboard. Alright, up next we're going to be talking about boost being moved to the right bumper or R1. Again, what we're talking about here is really the psychological and ergonomic effects of video games. Some people pick up Rocket League and don't change a thing and dominate all day every day. And if that's you, can you suggest some lucky numbers? Clearly the light has shone upon you, but I think most of us need that extra merger of concepts. For example, the brake on the left trigger, naturally. So by applying power slide to the left bumper, it's easier to intuit its function instead of voice chat or scoreboard. Okay. We said we would drop it. Moving on. So as we have the gas accelerator on the right trigger, adding boost onto the right bumper helps a lot of players time out their boosts while giving further control to the camera. This can be the game changer when it comes to aerials, especially because it opens up so much for players to learn. Up next, we have air roll left onto the left bumper or L1 and air roll right onto the right bumper or R1. I think if you want to summarize the important lesson of this list, it's please change the L1, R1 on the PlayStation or the bumpers on the Xbox. Some people really love the default buttons, not us. You should definitely change those settings. One of the early starter settings we would recommend is air roll left on a left bumper and air roll right on a right bumper. Most players will eventually graduate out of this control setup, but if you're just starting out and trying to master some of the nuances of defense, this can really help. Again, this is a public service message brought to you by bad online experiences. We see you there just forward rolling. That's not defending the goal. Air rolling is fundamental in Rocket League, and it's a skill that's really fun to use. Distractingly fun, in fact. But if you're ending up on the losing side of every match, it might be time to practice with this brand new setup. Okay, up next we're going to be talking about jump on the right bumper. Oh boy, now we're talking about high level play now, and that means you're going to need more than your index finger. That's right, take your middle finger and apply them to the triggers if you want to take this move to pure functionality. By default, jump is on a face button, and given the history of game design, that certainly makes sense. And we understand that invites more players to engage with the game's mechanics. The developers set it up as the default controls for a good reason. It's familiar, but once you're going online and ready for an edge, if you place the most important actions on the shoulders, putting jump on the right bumper or R1 absolutely makes the difference. Rolling and boosting are fundamental, but they are ultimately dictated by the quality and timing of your jumps. And of course, your double jumps. It might go against your impulse, but this is a more accurate control scheme. Okay, lastly, we're going to be talking about the ball cam, which is square on PlayStation or X on Xbox. The ball cam is incredibly important in Rocket League, allowing focus for players to purely navigate in relation to the ball. Note, we didn't just say towards the ball, new players. This is really important for defense as well, planning not only to knock the ball back, but planning out a beneficial trajectory. This is our final recommendation on the list, but it does include another concept: pro controllers using back buttons instead of face buttons, allowing for complete uninterrupted camera controls on the right stick. And even in these cases, the ball cam is beneficial, as it locks your direction of your car, however briefly, and when you're dribbling towards a play, this can help you enter new formations. This isn't simply informational, like the scoreboard. It's not just a reminder of where the ball is. It's important for how Rocket League plays, which is why even those fancy controller owners absolutely use it too. Alright team, let's break formation. That was Rocket League Best Controller Bindings. We hope our teamwork makes the dream work for you Rocket League players out there, as it is one of the most rewarding games you can get good at. So stick around on Game Rant, and we have way more Rocket League tips. And we hope to see you soon.